Welcome to Tucson Village Farm. We are a working urban farm for kids and families right here in Tucson. We're a program of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences and Pima County Cooperative Extension. And we are a 501c3 through the University of Arizona Foundation, which is a separate entity from the U of A, designed to help bring in money to the U of A. And my name is Lisa Carter, and I'm the founder and one of two program coordinators for this for Tucson Village Farm. And I thought we'd just gather in the shade for a minute, and I can tell you a little bit about what we do, if that's okay. And then I'd love to give you all a tour of the farm and show you what we do. So we're an education-based farm, and I founded Tucson Village Farm in an effort to get kids outside in nature and learning where their food comes from, basically. I worked in school gardens before starting this, and what I saw is that I worked with very at-risk populations, and what I saw is that when kids have a hand in growing food and seeing food on the vine, they eat it every time, every time. I mean, it's just such a simple formula, you know? So, working in school gardens was great, and I wanted to be able to expand that so that more kids could have that opportunity. So I designed this this model that TVF is based on, which is a centrally located, easily accessible, sustainably managed farm that many schools can have access to, either for a one-time visit or repeatedly several times a year, through school programs with their families in any ways that they want to have access to it. So we broke ground. I came to the university coming up on 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and we broke ground in January of 2010. And if y'all are from Tucson, you might remember that this was a dirt lot for a lot of years, many, many years. So nothing that you see here was here except that one wall with the tile roofs over there. That was part of another project, and that was here. Nothing else was here. So this has all been built up through volunteer power over the last 2.5 years. We are grant funded, and so we exist on grants and private donations, and a lot of volunteers. We're almost all of us volunteers up here. And so what we do now is we bring in a couple hundred kids a week, mostly through the schools, up to 100 kids at a time, and we run a 2-hour agriculture and nutrition education program. So when a group shows up, they're already broken by name tags into small groups, and we move them seamlessly through the 6 stations of the farm, which I'll show you when we walk around, at least 1 or 2 of which are totally hands-on, hands in the dirt, kids getting dirty, planting, harvesting, watering, digging, whatever the farm chores of the day are. So everything we do is with kids, everything is planted by kids, mostly harvested by kids. And about 85% of our produce goes back to kids for free through our program. So every kid who comes here gets to taste something that was grown on the farm, whatever's in season, and they also get some of our popcorn. That we have a popcorn field out there. We grow our own organic popcorn, and we serve every kid popcorn because it's a healthy whole grain snack, and we teach them about that. So that's where most of our produce goes. But we've expanded a little bit each season, and so we have what you see here, and then we have a field out there which we'll walk to as well. It's not a huge area, but we find that we can produce enough produce to feed all these kids, plus we do evening events and dinners for community groups, and we have volunteer days, and we do festivals and all kinds of different things. We did a big wellness conference last year for 268 people. So, and then but we do have a little surplus, so we started a U-Pick market on Tuesday afternoons. So we toyed with the idea of maybe we want to sell some of our produce to a local restaurant, and then we said, that's not so much in keeping with what we do, with our mission. So let's make another education-based program. And so you can bring your 3-year-old out and on a Tuesday between 4 and 6, and we staff it well so that we can show her how to pick her dinner. And for the people who don't want to pick and be out in the field in the hotter months, we also just set up a little market right here, so you can just shop if you want to just shop. So that's what we do. So we also run a farm camp. We have 2 one-week sessions in June. We consider ourselves a seed-to-table program. Not only do we want to teach kids how to grow food, but we really we're interested in teaching them how to eat real food too. We're a little bit limited in a 2-hour program, although we do usually incorporate a station where their kids are, for example, harvesting lettuce, processing it, and they learn to make a salad dressing, and then they sit down to a little bowl of lettuce. And it's unbelievable, like all these kindergartners eating mescaline mix with arugula in it, you know. But it works, they're doing it. But in our summer camp, we have these kids, we have 36 kids between the ages of 7 and 11, 35 hours a week. So that's where we really get to shine with the seed to table. So the kids start out here for an hour and a half till 9:30 till it's too hot because it's June. They do all their farm chores and all the harvesting for the day, and we take it in the back to the kitchen. We do have a kitchen. It's not a certified kitchen, and we are actually fundraising right now to be able to build a certified teaching kitchen on site because we really, really need one. And when we get that, one of the things we want to be able to do with it is open it up to the community. So you grow cucumbers and you want to make pickles and sell them at the market, you can come in and use our certified kitchen. So hopefully within a year or 2 we'll be able to offer that service to the community. But for now we use our kitchen such as it is. And we bring in a chef, and all the kids make all their own food for the whole week. And not peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They make sushi. They all get to learn to cook their own omelet over a stove. They make pizza. They make fresh pasta. They make goat cheese. They make ice cream. All kinds of things. And so a typical seed to table day might look like this. The kids on Whole Grains Day, the kids go out and harvest the wheat that we have on the farm. We don't have any right now. We'll be planting it in a month or so. They harvest it and thresh it and winnow it and mill it. And then we go, this year we actually walked them to Scordato's Pizzeria, got a tour of their pizza kitchen, and they gave each kid a little ball of dough. And they came back and made their own pizzas. So that's like the full seed to table, which we love to do when we have, enough kids for enough hours for a long enough period of time. So,
how much money are you trying to raise for a certified kitchen?
It's going to be between $200,000 and $300,000. Chump change, right? Morgan?
I don't know if you guys are running specifically, but can you talk at all about the farmer education program that's happening here now?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we are. We partnered with several of the researchers over here at CEAC, the Controlled Environmental Agriculture Center over here, which is part of the U of A farm as well, and the College of Ag. And they got a grant to do a 5-year grant to offer a 6-session beginning farmers class. And so we partnered with them to host and help them teach it and just collaborate however we could, provide all the snacks and stuff. And so we posted that in August, and in 10 days we had 60 people sign up and had to close it, and we had all these people that we had to turn away. But the whole 6 weeks cost $20, and you get a lot for your $20 because of the grant. So we're about 2/3 of the way through that now. We built these hoop houses in the field there that you'll see when we walk out there. And that is, that class goes over, basic gardening skills, basic composting skills, some soil science in there, planting calendar. But they also go over niche crops, business plans, certification, record keeping for people, probably some people like yourselves who are interested in growing some food and maybe having some supplemental income, so having a table at the market or something like that. So this class will be offered, I believe, 6 sessions to those same people for the next 5 years as sort of ongoing support.
Come back over 5
Yes, but what I'm hoping is that we can start a new session in the spring because clearly there's such a need for this. So I'm sure if it's not through that same grant, we'll find a way to do it because,
Could you charge more as part of your community kitchen?
yeah, I'm sure we could. Yeah.
Maybe. Phoenix is doing that program too.
Are they?
Yeah.
I think with the same,
It's
don't
a
know.
new cooperative extension.
oh, so
Yes.
it could be part of the same grant, sure, yeah.
If you had more student involvement, would you be able to apply for at least some of the funding for your kitchen through the Green Fund?
Student involvement,
Well, in
in
other
what
words,
aspect?
have you thought about applying for a Green Fund grant to get at least some of the money for your community kitchen?
We did get a Green Fund grant this summer, yeah, and it staffed 3 part-time people to help maintain the farm for the summer. Yeah, and it was very helpful,
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
the kitchen might be a good target.
yeah.
How large is this kitchen?
You know, I don't know, I don't remember. I saw the plans a long time ago and then it sort of got shelved because we had some immediate staffing needs that we were raising funds for. And now we've sort of got some of those covered, so we're going back to the kitchen. So I can't really say off the top of my head. But it sort of has, you know, a half dozen or so teaching stations along the edge. Almost like a cubicle in the library, except it's a kitchen cubicle. And then a central area for food demos and things like that. Yeah.
Is there, or I'm not sure of the extent of University of Arizona student involvement? Is that where a lot of your volunteers come from? Do they run children's workshops? Like, how do you guys utilize your students?
Yeah, so a number of our volunteers do come from the U of A. We've worked really closely last year with the Eller College of Business and we're on our 5th student group now. And the way that works is we'll have a student group of about 5 students and they will take on a project, something that we desperately need that we don't have time to do. For example, you'll see when we walk around the garden, one of the groups last year designed QR code signs for some of the vegetables, 11 vegetables on the farm. And because we can't always be here staffing it, but we want people to be able to come on the weekends and walk through. And so if you have the QR code app, you can scan it and it gives you the nutritional information and a recipe and it takes you to our website. So that's one thing that they did. Another one created a database for us that would allow us to input all of our, you know, everything from volunteers to, you know, seed inventory to donors and just a huge database. So we're working on getting our data into that database now. And another one right now is marketing our Harvest Festival. We do an annual Harvest Festival in November. It's not so much a fundraiser, although we do a raffle with it, but it's really more sort of our giving back to the community. It's just sort of a celebration of what we do here, and we call it a Taste of the Harvest, and we have 7 or 8 food demo stations set up and lots of our produce cooked up that you can taste, and then a little market where you can purchase it and take a recipe if you want to go home and make it. So they're working on marketing that for us, which will transfer into marketing all of our events. You know, that'll be helpful in the big picture. So since we broke ground, we have served over 10,000 people on the farm, and like I said, we're mostly volunteer run. We wear a lot of hats. We've been like this for the last 2.5 years. I think we didn't quite know what we were getting ourselves into, you know. But it's a testament to the need for a program like this, I guess. So this is our year of getting our systems in place. We've sort of managed without them thus far, but it's time to put on the brakes a little bit and get some systems in place. So we're doing that this year and expanding at the same time. And we don't even, you know, our schools they just come to us. We're booked straight through December, and we don't do, it's just word of mouth, basically. So we stay really, really busy. But so you had asked about U of A volunteers. So the Eller College of Business, I have 2 interns from the College of Public Health doing their internships for their master's programs here. We have Blue Chip students. Anybody familiar with the Blue Chip program? It's a community service-based program, and each of the Blue Chip participants has to do a certain number of hours of community service. So some of them can choose to do that here at the farm. And we have been the fortunate recipients of a grant over the last 2 years, an AmeriCorps grant. It's a federal grant, and we've recruited and trained 10 AmeriCorps who've given most of them 900 hours each on the farm. Fabulous, fabulous people. And without them, we would never be where we are. So, what else? And then Morgan's class, the geography department. Are you familiar with his class? I don't know. Some of you are.
talked
So,
about it.
Morgan, maybe you can probably say it better than I can.
Well, we've actually, you've only gotten a couple interns from us. It hasn't been the biggest.
That's okay.
I'm the field coordinator for this program called the U of A Community and School Garden Workshop. We give both undergraduate and grad students from the U of A some basic gardening training, and then set them up with a variety of different organizations. We work with over a dozen different public schools, 2 charter schools now, and several other organizations like Tucson Village Farm, the Community Food Bank, Ironwood Tree Experience, and our interns do a wide variety of things with a bunch of all these different programs. This semester is our biggest one yet. We've got about 35 interns placed at all those different sites. So, yeah, and I think we've had 5 or 6. No, because we had 3.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
We had 5 interns here over the last 2 years, year and a half.
Yeah. And that's been so fabulous. Our when we do what?
No, I was just laughing at my inability to remember numbers.
When we do our Growing Forward program, which is the school-based program, so we have 100 kids, 6 stations. It's pretty adult intensive. So we need at least one person to run each of those stations, and often 2. So it's been really, really great to have Morgan's interns, both last year and this year, and also some nutrition student volunteers as well. So we focus here on kid-friendly crops, since all of our crops go back to kids. So we don't grow spicy chilies or anything like that. We grow a lot of fun things, extra carrots. One thing we do with every group that comes through here is what we call vegetable ID, which is basically we couch it as a scavenger hunt. And the reason we do that, we charge kids with finding 6 fruits or vegetables growing on the farm. And the reason we do that is because kids can't identify vegetables in their raw form. Here's an example. On Thursday, I had 125 kids planting carrots out here. And I was showing them, I just discovered some ripe tomatoes over there, and I just wanted to show them. And I said, what do you see there? And the first one said, a potato. And the second one said, a raspberry. And the third one said, ketchup. Ketchup. So that is why we do vegetable ID with every kid who comes through the farm, because they don't know a tomato from a potato. So what you see right now, you see a lot of empty beds, and that's because planting season, is today the 15th? Planting season started yesterday then. So we're gonna hurry up and plant all of our winter crops. And we try to do that all with kids. So we'll span it out over the next 6 weeks and try to get all those crops in. So what you see is sort of the end of the summer crops. We have prolific basil, we have some amaranth growing, we have a melon patch, winter squash, cucumbers here on the trellis, more winter squash, tomatoes, or not tomatoes, basil, sorry there are tomatoes but they're not basil. Basil and peppers over here. And then in the field we have pumpkins, a little bit of winter squash, a couple of summer squash, and a lot of popcorn. So, we just got these shade structures up this summer, or in the spring, a little bit later than we had hoped to, but that gives us just a little bit of shade for the tomatoes and peppers in the summer. So that's going to be great to have. We added this trellis as, typically we're growing gourds up here, but they didn't do so well this year. Usually by now it's totally shaded with gourds hanging down, and that's really fun for the kids. But you know, it's an education-based farm. We do a lot of trial and error out here. We're learning all the time. Every year presents new challenges. Inaccessible. It's the thing that goes to the bottom of the list every time. Well, we always get hits, but we never seem to get around to doing it. So we're going to be doing that 8 to 11, and